Liverpool won, Chelsea won at Anfield. John, it felt like a title race game, didn't it? But ultimately, Liverpool don't come up with all 3 points.
Yeah, and I think as we got closer to kick-off, there was shouts in our group like, well, you probably take a draw today. A draw wouldn't be a bad result. But under the circumstances, when you go into the second half, having got back in the game and had one of their men sent off, you fancy your chances to take all 3. And I think it was a frustrating day at the office for me. I thought Liverpool were dominant, like in so many aspects. First 20, they were absolutely dominant, and obviously the Chelsea goal was a decent header. But I think to go in all square, having one of their players sent off, really optimistic into the second half, thinking almost how many are we going to win by, more are we going to win. But this Chelsea side, the serious side, thought they defended dogged there, thought they were really impressed. I'm slightly frustrated, if I'm dead honest, that I don't think we were making their goalkeeper pull off world-class saves. We didn't test him anywhere near enough, and from about 60 minutes onwards, I just thought we looked a bit devoid of ideas. I thought some of our play was a bit predictable, and I was watching Mohamed Salah very wide, and I was sort of hoping he'd get a little bit more involved. And I think he knows when he's on that far side, he's going to hit the ball off players like Trent, he's going to hit the ball off players like Harvey Elliott. But I don't know, I would have liked to see a bit more involved in the penalty area, really, where he's really dangerous, where he can really do some damage. But I think, as I say, a point's a good result against the European champions. And when we get to the meaty end of this season, we'll be looking at this, and only then will we know whether it was a good point or not, really. But I thought we came away with a lot of credit, and as do Chelsea.
100%. You saw the way Chelsea celebrated at the end as well. The players all sort of hugging each other in the box. It meant a lot to them to come to Anfield and get a point. Look, you can argue the context of it with them being down to 10 men, but Liverpool maybe should have put chances away. Ultimately, Chelsea had taken a point from Anfield 100%, and that says a lot about how serious players Liverpool are in this title race, despite being written off early.
Yeah. I think we were not mentioned in any of the pre-season we were not fancied pre-season as being potential title challengers, which I think is a nonsense. And we're proving that it's a nonsense. As I say, a bit more guile, a bit more craft, a little bit more imagination in the critical areas. And I'm not really sure where that comes from, to be honest with you. There wasn't an obvious sub. I thought Robertson looked tired and probably could have done with coming off a bit earlier for Shimikas.
Thiago maybe should come on a bit earlier.
I was delighted to see Thiago come on, but he played deep, didn't he? He sat really. He was not that much in the way that you expect him, putting cheap balls into the box for people to run to. Not so much of that. I thought he was playmaking from deep, really. So yeah, I think one of those where I'll watch it back and maybe probably feel a little bit differently about it. But I think with all the emotion of the occasion and the expectation going into that second half, it's hard not to be a little bit frustrated.
We were led to believe before the game as well, John, that Romelu Lukaku was going to be coming up against Virgil van Dijk, this sort of clash of titans, and Joel Matip once again just managed to find a way to deal with him constantly over again.
Romelu Lukaku loves the ball into feet, and he can turn his man and bully his man, and he just didn't get a chance to do that today. I thought both defenders played him really well, and they just stood off him, and as he turned, he just nicked off his feet and just left him standing there, looking like a bit of a pudding, really, which is great. And I rate Lukaku, by the way. I do rate Lukaku, but I thought we had his number today, which is good to see.
Yeah, absolutely good to see. Well, the Reds didn't get the business done in the end. 1-1 draw. As John says, later in the season, maybe that will look a good point at Anfield. All our post-match reaction going on. We've got the post-match show going on behind us right here. Post-match pint being filmed at the church as well. Subscribe for all that good stuff.
Alright, the Reds, thanks very much for getting stuck into that little snippet there of Anfield Wrap content. If you want the rest of that show and much more besides, click the link below, subscribe to the Anfield Wrap Premium, and for that you will get reviews, previews, exclusive interviews, post-match content, the full it. Get involved, follow us, follow them from the heart of Liverpool. Up the Reds.